The German Chancellor's job approval rating is at a record low, according to a new survey. The monthly Germany trend poll found less than 20% of people are either satisfied or very satisfied with the job that Olaf Scholz is doing. Other party leaders fared better. Digging into the details, around half said he was acting prudently, while only 12% felt he was a good communicator, and less than a quarter of people said he can steer the country through a crisis. According to the results, this is the worst polling for a head of government in Germany in more than 25 years. The poll comes exactly 2 years after Olaf Scholz was elected German Chancellor, presenting a catastrophic balance sheet. Here's a look at what led to this.
The Chancellor of the world's fourth largest economy is currently being haunted by one question.
Is Germany still a reliable partner from an Italian perspective?
Olaf Scholz's reaction at a press conference with Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni went viral.
Thank you for asking about German budget policies.
Scholz's redirection of COVID money to fund Germany's green transition was ruled unconstitutional, leaving him without a budget just weeks before it's supposed to come into force. His reputation as a smooth operator is shattered. The opposition is having a field day.
You are a plumber of power. You lack any idea of how this country should develop over the coming years.
While Scholz shrugs off the criticism, he simply can't shake off a looming government crisis sparked by his budget blunder. Scholz's three-way coalition continues to argue over where to make cuts for the 2024 budget. It's only the latest in a series of very public rows. Undeniably, it's now mostly the fear of fresh elections that is holding this government together. Scholz's cabinet just missed their last chance to get a new budget through Parliament by the end of the year. Now winter is coming, and Scholz has gone from granting political wishes to his coalition partners to being the one who hopes to make a political miracle come true for Christmas.
I asked our political correspondent Hans Brandt how disastrous this survey is for the German leader.
Yeah, as we heard, it really is the worst performance of any government leader, of any head of government in Germany since these polls have been conducted for the last 25 years or so. So it really is a very bad showing. Scholz has been declining. His approval rates have been declining ever since he took office 2 years ago. One can say that, he was faced with a very difficult situation with the war in Ukraine, with the tail end of the corona epidemic, with the crisis now in the Middle East, and the most recent crisis, the fact that his budget was thrown out by the Constitutional Court in parts. So he has been facing, and then he has a three-party coalition, which we've never had in Germany before. So a very difficult situation, but you could say that's exactly the situation in which a leader should show his leadership capacity. And Scholz, clearly, in the view of voters and of the public, has not shown that kind of leadership.
So, Hans, what's he going to do?
Well, at the moment, his method is the one that he's always shown: keep calm and carry on, you might say. Don't let yourself be rattled by these kinds of polls. Try to continue with your policies, a steady hand, that kind of thing. That's what he's been trying to project. But the problem is that in the end, he's a bad communicator. He does not really manage to come across as somebody who understands how rattled the public is, how worried people are about their future, about the situation, about things like climate change and so on. So he's not come across as somebody who really manages to understand what people think, and that's really what is reflected in these polls.
So new elections are not an option?
New elections are what the opposition is calling for, but no, new elections are not an option because all three parties in this coalition government, the Social Democrats, the Greens, business-friendly Free Democrats, they're all doing very badly in the polls. In fact, the Social Democrats are now behind the Greens and are only the fourth largest party in these polls. The largest party are the Conservatives, followed by the ultra right-wing, by the right-wing Alternative for Germany. So if elections were held today, it would be very bad for all three parties in the coalition. So in a sense, they're condemned to continuing with their bickering.
But Hans, what about his own party? Does he face criticism there? It's got its Congress starting today.
Yes, the Congress is starting today, and yes, he will face criticism. Obviously, the party rank and file are very worried about these poll results, are very worried about how badly their party is doing in the polls, and there will be criticism around the social democratic policies, which many members of this party feel have not been well enough represented in what the government is doing. But in the end, I think there will be backing for Scholz, especially in the current budget crisis. And the party Congress will say to him, keep on doing this, find a solution quickly so that we can go ahead rather than fighting in public.
Keeping calm and moving along. You heard it from Hans Brandt. Thank you very much for the analysis.